Hey, this is Shaun with the Go Tennis Podcast, powered by Signature Tennis. Check out our calendar of Metro Atlanta events at letsgotennis.com. And if you're a fan of Bull Shark Sports, go to shop.letsgotennis.com and get yourself a hoodie or a hat. Today, this is Youth Sports Talk with Coach Ben Hestley. Today, Coach Ben wants to encourage multi-sport athletics, building year-round habits. Ben, you ready to talk youth sports?
Let's dive in.
All right, today Coach Ben wants to talk about how kids can add a sport into their free time, their breaks, and in between the seasons to create a habit of being a multi-sport athlete. So, Ben, where do you want to start?
I think just start thinking about how it was when we were kids, Shaun, maybe before we were kids, right? And we think about um, what season is it? And when we were kids and even before us, we just played the seasons, right? In my area, grew up in small town Alabama. We played football in the fall and basketball in the winter and baseball in the spring. And then the summer, when baseball season was over, you picked up a racket or a club and played tennis or golf, right? And now it's year round, right? Everything is year round. And that's not to say that's bad at all. I think it's a good thing. I think we see better athletes now. I know kids that I coach are probably better at their skill than I was at their particular age because they play so much more often. And that's a good thing. But we need to make sure that we don't get locked into that. And when it is our quote season of our sport, we're doing other things during the week to kind of help supplement that, change things up, and just kind of creating a year-round multi-sport athlete.
So, when I asked the question, have I played anything else this week? That was what we were asking when we were discussing this topic. And my first response was, have I played anything else this week? Let's say I'm a tennis player typically, and I'm 10. And if you ask me, I'm a kid, and you say, hey, have you done anything other than tennis this week? I'm like, yeah, sure, Roblox or
Yeah.
Fortnite or watching some SpongeBob on my iPad. I've done plenty of things this week. But that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. No. And we're not even talking about going as far as arguing that you earn some athletic skills by playing NBA 2K. Right? I mean, we're not talking about that. We're talking about being outside, or it could be inside, you could be in the gym, and playing a sport that's different than maybe the main sport of that particular season that you focus on, right? So this could be organized or it could be unorganized. Some parents do it automatically, if you will. So they have their kid plays soccer and baseball or softball in the same season. And as long as they're not too much conflicting and it's not driving the parents crazy and overwhelming the child, I think that's fine. I think it's fine to do. Now, it's going to be probably hard at the higher levels if you trying to play academy soccer and travel baseball at the same time. That's probably a bit of a challenge. But if you're playing a soccer league where it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and your baseball is Monday, a Saturday game, and Sunday practice, I think that's fine. Or so that's organized. Or it could be more unorganized, right? My kid plays travel baseball or softball, but then he or she shoots hoops in the driveway every night or plays a pickup game, a tag in the neighborhood field with the neighbors, right? Or we play ping pong or whatever, right? So it could be one organized where it's structured by the parent, making sure you're playing two sports at the same time, or more unorganized where you have one organized sport that you really focus on primarily, and then other things that you do are athletic outside of that, like shooting hoops in the driveway.
When you took all the good examples, because I would have run through my childhood, which was after I quit playing organized basketball, the basketball hoop on the side of the house in the driveway didn't come down and get thrown away. It got used. We still played in the driveway. We played horse. We played one on one. We played pickup games and the ping pong table. Obviously, that's I had a brother, so clearly all we did in our free time was ping pong in the basement. But I'm thinking also along the lines of playing catch with your dad or mom or anybody, right? Playing catch with a parent, playing catch with your brother. And say I didn't play a lot of baseball past about 12 years old, but my brother played high school baseball and was pretty darn good. And he and my father were out there playing catch a lot. Well, what did I do? I was the tennis guy, but that doesn't mean I wasn't out playing catch with them and trying to hit the ball with a stick and running back and forth and changing directions. Basically, we played a cricket version of baseball in our front yard because we really only had one line. Like I think you mentioned at one point, you've got some sort of whole bare area in your yard because you play so much baseball there.
Yeah, they play wiffle ball or stick ball, right? They love to one of their favorite things is just have a stick with a tennis ball. I mean, obviously we're not short on tennis balls in my house. So we have tennis ball and sticks, stick bats, broomsticks, basically. Back in my day, we play with broomsticks and they're hitting with that. And talk about something that really helps your hand-eye coordination. Man, trying to hit a tennis ball, even if it's tossed softly, hitting it with a little broomstick, that's a challenge. But yeah, I have a bare spot in my yard because that's home plate when they play their pickup wiffle ball games.
And that's us. Like, we're the sporty types. The encouragement here, I think, might be for the less sporty type. The parent that says, "Well, I can't teach my kid how to play baseball or teach them how to play tennis." You don't have to teach them how to play baseball. Just go play catch. Get a glove and play with your child and spend that. Go shoot some basketball. Shoot some basketball hoops. Is that a phrase?
Shoot
Go
hoops. Shoot
shoot
hoops. Yeah.
hoops with your kid. There we go. I sound cool when I say that. Go shoot hoops with your kids. But in that case, it's also an encouragement of the parents to get involved as well, rather than just saying, "Hey, kid, go find something to do."
I think, and you can do that later, right? Like, I mean, my wife and I love to sit outside and have a drink together and enjoy the day and decompress from our day while the kids are running around playing tag or shooting hoops or playing catch with each other or playing fetch with the dog. What often happens is they try and play catch. The dog, we have a lab. Dog grabs the ball, runs off. Then they get to chase the dog, which is super athletic. I mean, if you ever want to try to catch or dodge a 85-pound Labrador as he's running at you, that's an athletic skill.
Yes, it is.
But we have to go to that. Well, you have to grow to that, right? You like you said, you can't just go out there and day one go, "Oh, we're going to put the phones down. Kids, y'all go play. Mom and I are going to sit over here and relax." You have to get involved with them and then sort of like peel yourself out of it, if that makes any sense. Kind of like a good coach. Like I always think I'm a good coach is also a really good facilitator, right? You kind of set the environment. So initially, you're going to have to be like super involved in kind of controlling that environment, running that environment. And then as the kids get more used to it, you can sort of peel yourself back as a facilitator and let them kind of take ownership of the environment.
Yeah, and they can make adjustments as they want to, especially if it's an unorganized system. The phrase, the word disorganized jumped in. It doesn't mean it has to be
And we're
disorganized.
not disorganized, right? Or organic is, I like the word organic,
There we go.
it's more
I like that.
organic development.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's an argument that our kids need more of that because everything in their life is extremely structured and it is extremely well set up to provide success and build self-esteem and all those things, and we have a lot of that. But it is probably a good argument that says, you know what, the kids probably just need to go in the backyard and make up a game and play and win and lose and negotiate and do all the things that the kids need to do on a playground or in a backyard is really good for their development rather than just having the fouls called by a referee all the time.
Yeah. No, I agree. And room to fail, right? It's hard to have in a practice session, we want the kids to learn, but we also want the kids to feel good. So naturally, it might be difficult to push them in a way that they are failing a lot. But this gives them the freedom to fail, right? Freedom to fail, and they can go and throw a tennis ball up against a wall and work on their grounder, fielding how to field a ground ball. Thousands of times without a coach yelling at them that their foot's not in the right position or whatever, or in a game situation, they get one ground ball a game and they're so scared they're going to miss it. This gives them freedom to fail and figure things out. And to turn the conversation a little bit, this is where, in terms of multi-sport athlete, I think tennis has a super advantage because it's an individual sport by nature. And it can be organized, unorganized, and we can talk about that. But tennis, you can hit up against the wall like you and I grew up. Right? You want a backboard in every single neighborhood in the country, which I think is super cool and should be done. And you just go hit up against the backboard. That's how I learned. And or you're going out and playing in the driveway where mom or dad. I always tell parents all the time, you don't have to go hike it to the tennis courts, right? You can just go there, draw a line in the driveway with a piece of chalk. That's our quote net, and let's just rally back and forth.
Yeah, and that's a scenario where we look at Atlanta, which is where we are, and there are tennis courts everywhere. You're
Yeah.
more likely to have a tennis court in your neighborhood than any other sporting facility. You might have a basketball goal in a cul-de-sac, but in that case, you're using some family's basketball goal, and usually there's a deal that you're allowed to do that. But the tennis courts in the neighborhood are very popular here, and that's not true all around the country. But whatever it is, whatever's free, even if what I did was hitting the tennis balls up against the garage door, and if it hit that little frame edge down the middle and across, it went off sideways. Yeah, that was even harder. You had to go try and chase it down. But whatever it is that tennis allows the multi-sport athlete, it's a great addition, even if you're not going to go be a great tennis player. There is an argument that it might be the pinnacle option as a second sport, whether you're a baseball, basketball, football player, whatever it is. Tennis is arguably the best second sport for you as an athlete. Would you agree?
I think you just nailed it, man. I think we could probably stop the show right there. I
Nice
couldn't
job.
agree with you, Shaun. I couldn't agree with you more, honestly. And I've said this for years at the highest levels. When I've worked so much with USTA and different initiatives and things like that we've done, and ADM and Net Generation, and been a coach developer with that association. And the USTA as the governing body is always focused on how can we get more American tennis on TV, basically? Like, how can we get an American to win the U.S. Open, our coveted professional championship? But I think tennis, and I always told them, tennis is a perfect sport to be a vehicle to create more athletes, right? And most of the programs that are run around the country at clubs and facilities, at least for beginner to intermediate players, people that just want to get into the sport, it's pretty minimal, right? You can sign up for a 6 or 8 week session. Your program, Tennis for Children, is monthly, so you can do 1 month and take another month off and pick it up again later. So the commitment is pretty minimal compared to some team sports. And most of the time, you come to these classes once a week. They're run by a coach. There's no requirement outside of that, like a tournament or match or team thing you have to commit to, like you would for a team sport. And so it's a great, like you said, secondary sport to sort of pick up some more athleticism, learn some skills that are probably going to transfer over to whatever sport you play. And I really think that's what the model for tennis should be. And then from that, you're going to get kids that love it and want to take it seriously, and that's going to be your next U.S. Open champion.
All right. Well, I like to think I nailed it. Looks like you drove it home. So, did we answer the question?
We did. So just heat check yourself, parents, weekly basis. Am I creating good habits of doing multiple athletic, multiple physical things throughout the week?
There we go. Ben, I appreciate it. This has been Youth Sports Talk with Coach Ben Hesley. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next week.
All right. Have a good week, guys. Thanks for watching.